see. Hear sound. We have sound now. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to our regularly scheduled DSS meeting. Just a friendly reminder to please silence your mobile devices. And I will ask.
Let us pray. Our gracious Heavenly Father, as we gather here this afternoon, we're thankful for so much to live in such a beautiful place. And people that are here. We ask, Father, that you lead, God, and direct us, make decisions for the betterment of this county. I also ask, Father, that you be with those that are less fortunate, safe, extra protection of lead, God, and direct.
And I'll ask Mr. Brownstep to please lead us in the pledge.
Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to the ethics awareness and conflict of interest reminder. Just, are there any conflicts of interest that need to be announced tonight? Hearing none, I'll entertain any additions or changes to the agenda. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented. I got a motion from Commissioner Masters and a second from Commissioner Harding. All those in favor, vote by usual sign. Having time to review your minutes from February the 7th, I'll entertain a motion that we accept those as they're presented. I'll second those. All those in favor, vote by usual sign. And with that said, we will welcome our director, Ms. Wendy Boone, to come and give us her director's update. Good evening.
Happy rainy evening. I first want to take a second to recognize that it is our National Social Workers Month. So we really appreciate all of our hardworking social workers at DSS as well as just throughout the county, for sure. I wanted to once again kind of give you the updates of some things that we've been doing. I continue to meet with Tom at Watauga DSS, and Christy Nash, my regional or my state consult. She is actually planning on visiting our DSS on March 28th. And she will meet with us there and kind of do a tour and that sort of thing. I continue to meet with the Medicaid, OSTs, the regional support, as well as the food and nutrition, meeting with their staff for all of the updates and changes that are occurring. We're still doing our CPS monthly consults with the states, and we're still doing our MDTs and our law enforcement meetings. Our next meeting with both of those is the 15th of this month. Sean and I have been continuing to work on recruiting our foster parents, and we actually met with Ms. Lori Gilchrist last week, the week before, to discuss some new marketing ideas and really coming up with a lot of cool ideas. So I'm looking forward to seeing that roll out. Ms. Linda and Tammy and I participated in a training together on the candidate qualifications for DSS, looking at those and what meets all the criteria as far as being eligible to be a candidate for employment. And Sean and Tammy and I also participated in a state training for adoption assistance. So we can all kind of get some updated guidance on that. And I also brought with me tonight Belinda Hodder, our Medicaid supervisor, and Jennifer Garland, our food and nutrition and energy and water assistance supervisor. I just wanted them to be here in case we have some questions, because I kind of wanted to go through some changes that are getting ready to occur for our counties across the state as well. But there's going to be a lot happening over the next couple of months, and we just wanted you as a board to be prepared to kind of hear probably a little bit of negative feedback once again from the community. So some of, with COVID being in place, you know, they've been all of these waivers that have been put in place to kind of give our families some extra benefits through this time. So this has been going on for 2 years with COVID. So those right now will be expiring. So like our Medicaid waiver that has kind of been in place to support these families through this hard time is planned to end April 16th.
So Wendy, for us lay people, would you explain what's been waived?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I brought her along, for sure.
If you and your family would receive the Medicaid at that time, it really doesn't matter if you get a better job and you make more money, we're gonna hold you at the same place in your family.
So in order to receive Medicaid, you have to either be disabled or have children in the home?
There's income guidelines.
Okay.
There's your household size and your income.
Okay.
Whether or not you're eligible or not.
Okay.
It's really not need-based. It's no matter how sick you are, it's based on your household.
So there's not a dependent requirement. There's not a requirement for you to have dependents in the home. So like those individuals, just to help me wrap my head around that.
Okay.
Some of those individuals that had kids that were 17 when this waiver come around, they got to draw for it. Everybody kept it, but that's coming to an end. And just to be clear for all the people on that are live streaming, that's not a Mitchell County decision. That's a state. Okay. Okay.
There's also adult medication.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of different kinds of medication, and it just depends on a lot of it. So these waivers were put in place to just make sure that people don't lose their Medicaid during the public health emergency. But April 16th, if they lift those waivers,
And you guys anticipate that they will?
they're, well,
We have a meeting Thursday from work.
Thursday we will talk to the DSS. Last time they came to my state, that's what. We're hoping that this, whatever the state decides, state that's all. It's just hard for the workers to know that there's people that are making $10,000 a month and they're still on full Medicaid. So it's just been a huge change not to be able to follow the policy that we've been following for years. And then they kind of put all that policy on hold. We've been doing policy now. So when they lift that, there'll be a lot of people people.
Gonna lose
eligible
theirs.
After that, bill.
So does, yeah, and I don't want to jump ahead of you. Does that apply to nutrition too? Like,
We're gonna
same
talk about
waivers?
that
Okay,
too.
sorry.
That's okay.
I do, I have one. Have you done the research on the numbers that this number of individuals or number of families or dollar amount this would affect?
There was a article come out several weeks ago that are across the United States, there was an extra 17 million put on Medicaid. But then you have to look at the people that would have come off of Medicaid if we were still doing the guidelines. So usually that number don't fluctuate like. We've got about 4,700 people, 4,500 people on Medicaid county. Approximately 50,000.
Yeah, so about a third.
So about a third of them are on Medicaid. And we're looking at probably about a third of them are going to be not eligible.
So a third of that third.
Is doing better for themselves. So they probably won't be eligible. Something's happened. So they've increased, they've got a new job. There's been a lot of people get new jobs, there's more pay at their job and things like that. We're looking at probably a third of them that we're gonna have to take off. That'll be
Now, Linda, when you say a third, you mean a third of the third that's on?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That'll have some ripple effects too, I guess, with clinics and the
Healthcare.
hospital, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, the clinic over here is a federal clinic, so they have to file. Federal facilitate marketplace that also they're based on income and stuff. But there's other means of getting health insurance for college students.
Or is there any plan, I guess, to counsel those individuals that are gonna look like for us to go on the federal marketplace and,
We're trying. And we'll say, just so you know, you really wouldn't be eligible for Medicaid if it wasn't for these waivers in place. So,
okay,
and we kind of talk them through what their
options are.
options might be.
We also talked about doing some public awareness. Also, when we get a true date for sure, with Medicaid and food and nutrition.
Thank you.
So as far as like food and nutrition services, Jennifer sent this information to me, so it was nice to kind of have it kind of laid out. But some of the things that they will be ending, and for food and nutrition, their date to end these waivers right now is actually the 31st of this month. So it's 2 different days, 2 different programs. So right now, March 31st, these waivers will end. So yeah, so, you know, this has been increased food and nutrition amounts. There've been the waiver of the interviews. They've been allowing the telephone signatures so folks would not have to come in. They could do it actually over the phone and do a telephone signature. The drug assessment waivers have been in place, so those will be going away. And as far as some of our adults, they will now have to work at least 20 hours a week in order to receive benefits. And our college students, they'll no longer qualify unless they're working 20 hours per week. And so there's going to be more hearings held. There's going to be probably an upswing of fraud cases that will be investigated, and the repayment of some of this, all of that has been on hold. So that will be put back in place. Once again, if you have specific questions, Jennifer's here to answer those. Or anything else, Jennifer, you want to say that I did not?
our program is a little bit like, Medicaid, we have, most households have been automatically recertified. We typically recertify clients every 6 months. By their attorney, so we're always with that current information. So we're trying to waive that recertification, they just automatically let people go. So what they didn't tell me was they were still liable for report changes. So as just went back to these cases, working these cases in January, myself, the caseworkers go through recertifications and we pull really was working faster or that they're liable to take. So they so that's something that we have raised. Fraud investigator is not dead. I don't know how he does it, but he's just really good at it all.
There's a talent to that.
That's where they're at.
Are we responsible as a county for repaying that, or is the individuals repay it to the state? How's that work?
They were paid, pretty rare, but, they repay the benefits to the state, they keep the.
So Jennifer, when we're talking about food assistance and the waiver that's gonna go away for food assistance, are we talking about food stamps or what others?
So that is just, it was as food stamps in the past, they kind of renamed it to food and nutrition services, or there's also a SNAP program, which is just a couple programs within that. But yeah, that's just your food. All. Maximum benefit for a single person. $515 to save.
But they're gonna make them pay it back?
No.
Okay, okay.
They'll just go
Gotcha.
back to 20.
Okay, gotcha.
Wow.
So that calls a real upfront application that they qualify for a 30 days amount, but still. A lot of people figure that out.
And they wouldn't have, if it had just been $20, what would be the purpose?
Right.
Right.
We had a lot of people that said, no, I'm not gonna apply for $20 with the price, but we want to. But it was too big. The one part, that I really hate to see is our elderly to qualify based on. Now, they may live in a dilapidated house because of the mortgage expense. Those ladies and gentlemen, they were sick. Well,
So it sounds like the system's broke on both ends. We've been rewarding more than we should, but the people that really need it
Mhm.
are gonna be left out.
Especially our
I'll
elderly.
go back to that one.
Are y'all working in anticipation of this? Are y'all working closely with like Shepherd staff and neighbors leading neighbors? And as I imagine, a lot of those places will get bombarded once this.
Our intent is to reach out to them, we have, in the past, we have a food pantry. So we've got a lot of contact connections with those folks. We're gonna make some phone calls. From the beginning, we have told them they apply, make inquiries, all the things. Don't forget, we can. So we can try to, you gotta actually take them away. Every time we said, okay, they're going away, they would say, okay. So I don't know, I think we've tried more so many times.
We just wanted to prepare you as our board. And also ask you to support us through this transition because it's gonna be pretty difficult. There's gonna be lots of phone calls and all that, and with good reason. So yeah. And like I said, we hope to hear a little bit more. This week we have some meetings that we should hear some more, and we're also looking at developing, like I said, a press release, something on our Facebook page, and they said that they were going to be sharing a social media post that we could post. So we're waiting to get those. Yeah. So we just wanted to let.
Thank you.
You guys have more questions for me?
Thank you. Mr. Block? How are you this evening? All right. Thank you, ladies.
Go over some CPS numbers. We haven't had a huge amount of change, but we did have three children come in custody in February. All three are placed in Mitchell County. And we had one child adopted, so we went from 30, now we're at 32, with that one being adopted. We currently have 3 kids that are completely cleared for adoption. 11 kids cleared for adoption, and we have 2 that have a pending appeals. So we're just waiting on those. We don't really have a timeline other than the last one that we went through was 18 months. We had to wait 18 months. We have 4 children on trial home placement. So those kids should be closing out soon. We have 2 families in training process. We have the same number of homes, but one of our relative kinship homes moved up into a traditional home. They had just become licensed just for their kin, but they've decided to continue and move into a traditional home. And actually, one of the 3 kids that came into custody actually is in their home. So that's where there's a little shift there. So they moved from a kinship into a traditional home this month for us.
Sean, the 2 families that are in training, are they training for, and you may have just said that, I was trying to catch up where you were looking, or what you were reading from, but are they training to be traditional foster care homes?
Yes, traditional.
Okay.
And we're projected out June, July for them to be finished. For those 2 homes to be finished. Number of cases, we had 25 calls in February. So that was pretty heavy load this past month. We ended up with, at the end of the month, 21 cases being open for a family assessment or investigation.
That's a pretty high
Yeah, it's-
number, isn't it?
Yeah, we've seen an uptick. For last year, we took 5 kids into custody for the entire year. We just took 2 more children into custody about 30, 40 minutes ago. So we're already at 5
This year.
at this point, where we were at 5 for the entire last year. So we're expecting possibly a busy year this year. So I think coming out of the COVID, we're in a flux. It's just a variety of different things. But so right now we're seeing an uptick. In-home cases, we're at 3 for that. APS numbers, we had 7 calls for February. At the end of the month, we ended up with 8 open cases being assessed. And that's kind of compared to kind of give you a number. We had 7 at the end of January, so we had 8 at the end of February. We're still serving 1 assistant, special assistants in home. We're still waiting on guidance with that. The state opened that up to bring more people into that, but forgot to include funding. So they mandated it, but didn't bring the funding with it. And so they told us to put the brakes on that while they figure that out. So,
Just oversight.
yeah, just like oversight. But they're on it. They're on the job and trying to figure that out for us. We have 13 payees, still got 9 in guardianship. We're currently possibly looking at 1 right now. We might be having to bring into guardianship. We're still assessing that. We'll be making a decision on that probably this week. And then we're finishing up 1 facility. We didn't have any new facility complaints, but we're finishing up 1 assessment. We have 71 kids currently being served in subsidized daycare. And then Work First, we had served 7 families in February and for a total of 45 for the year.
What is Work First, Sean?
So Work First is a variety of different programs. It really falls under the kind of more like food and nutrition. But we have it kind of where we're at because
So people on the fringe of,
so
Like-
some people
like
that
struggling
don't qualify
working
for, like,
class.
they don't, we can help people with job related items, like if they get a job and they need special boots, they need special equipment, and they have the job, but they don't have the money to get that special equipment to start the job. We can buy that special equipment. Let's say their tires on their car they got a car, but it needs some maintenance work. We can do some basic maintenance, mechanical work, get done, put new tires on it for them. It's about assisting people to get back in the workforce. Individuals who have children placed with them can get funding, get some additional assistance as well. So it's just a really, for a small program that it is, it doesn't serve a huge number of clients. It's very complicated, very involved, and the state oversees it very, very tightly. And so it's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, although it doesn't serve a huge number of our clients within Mitchell County, what it does serve is it's hugely beneficial. So I know that we've talked about it before, but I can get Shannon to come in and maybe one day and do a breakdown, because we have a plan that we have to submit to, actually, I think these county commissioners have to.
yeah, it'd be great.
So-
I'd be interested in hearing a little more about it, because it sounds like it's pretty discretionary, but then at the same time, it sounds like there's a ton of oversight.
It is,
So
it's very involved, and a lot of little rules in it. And so there's a lot of things we have to make sure that the family has, because it's income based and things like that as well. But it does, but for those 45 families that we've served already, it's a huge.
Any questions for Sean?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank
This is Tammy Hobson.
Cut this off because not breathing talk is on, but good evening.
Good
I
evening.
just have a short budget update for you. Last month, we amended some of our accounts and moved some money around just within our own fiscal budget this year. We're 8 months in our expenditures, so we should be around 66% in cost, and we're running at 59% all programs. So that's a pretty good 7% savings there, where we're trying to make every dollar count in our agency. So I'm happy about that. Our revenues, we're at 6 months in, where we should be around, we should be right at 50%. We're at 47. So I told you that a few months back that the state took a while to pass their budget. We coded against, we got, some of our revenues were lower. You can see at 47%, we're catching that up. We would be at a full 50%, I think, but what's holding us back is those energy payments that Jennifer talked about. Those go out first, and sometimes it takes a month or two to get those reimbursements back, because they come back dollar for dollar. So, but that's where we are with our budget. I foresee us ending in pretty good. I don't see any major complications going forward. We're a little over halfway in, and we're watching it close. I did want to thank you. We went down and looked at the file room that was moved and changed around for us down at the annex. And it looks like an awesome space. The two rooms are joined. It's heated now. The cabinets are down there. So now we have a plan underway to start organizing. And I think when we get done, we're going to have a real tight ship. And I just wanted to express my appreciation for your support in that and making that happen for us.
Thank y'all for bringing it to our attention. That there was a need there.
You don't have any questions? Or- Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have no items for discussion tonight, so we'll move on to, we do need a closed session. We need to go into a closed session for North Carolina, Mitchell County. I need a motion first. I need to read the reason. So the reason that we need a closed session is the Mitchell County DSS Board will hold a closed session in accordance to General Statute 143-31811 to prevent, Section 1, to prevent the disclosure of information that is privileged or confidential pursuant to the laws of this state or of the United States, or not considered a public record within the meaning of Chapter 132 of the General Statutes. With that said, I'll entertain a motion that we go into closed session. I got a motion from Commissioner Masters and a second from Commissioner Grindstaff. All those in favor, vote by usual sign. Motion carries. The invitees will be our director, our program manager, and our county attorney, and our clerks of board. We don't need finance. Okay.